find the gratitude for the darkness, because you've been chosen. Congratulations. You've been chosen by the universe.
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah.
And that's a confirmation.
Welcome to The Man Within, a podcast about modern manhood forged through discipline and awakened through truth. And now, your hosts, Chase Hoskins and Jace Conroe.
The Man Within, welcome back. I was thinking about how we want to do the show. Obviously, last time we talked about us, what we're doing in our lives, who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking what would be cool is if we just choose one word, And today, because we already had a little bit of a conversation about it, I was thinking about purpose. What it means, what is purpose when it comes to a man? So I guess that would be my question to you is, what is purpose?
Yeah, I mean, that word is, what is that I'm looking for? Conjunctions, adverbs to that word, or different break-offs of that word. I feel like purpose is the seed, or I would say it's the trunk, and then the branches are so many things that align to purpose. What actually makes purpose actually become meaningful. But for me, I feel like one thing I've really started to understand about purpose through my life at this point in time is that, as I was saying with the trunk, it's the center. And so I really actually found that when I find myself feeling out of balance or uneven, I find that I'm out of center. And a lot of people use that term, I'm not centered. And I actually find that that's when you're not in your purpose. You're not in your center.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you are centered and you're grounded, like as a tree is, a tree trunk is very grounded and the roots go down and they are firm. Even if it's small, it's the same process, right? Trees don't just first grow the trunk without the roots, and it's the same thing. It just becomes bigger and more powerful, and the branches they outreach more. And so as your purpose starts to grow, it starts to touch more things. And I've found that as my purpose has grown, and as I've found my purpose, even when it was small and it wasn't, it needed to be nurtured, and it needed to be, watered, and it needed to, be fed. But as it has grown and it started to outreach into different parts of my life, I found that it was always there though.
Yeah.
It started in that small way, but it just grew. And so I've realized that it's not so much about finding purpose as it is understanding the purpose is already there, and it's discovery.
Yeah.
So for me, finding the purpose and the discovery, even when it's small, so that once you discover it, you can feed it and you can nurture it, and you can give it the attention that it needs and that it's asking for. I spent a lot of time, I would say, trying to come up with a purpose or to,
Find your purpose.
Find the purpose, but it was never find, it was discover, because discover to me versus find means outer, discover is more of a within.
It's already there.
Term. It's already there. You just have to see it.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's been really cool to completely just discover that. And once I saw that it was already there, I was like, oh, I know what you are. And you may be small right now, but I can nurture it and I can feed it and I can grow it and start to let it to expand and touch other things in other areas of my life that it wants to, So that's been a big shift for me, I would say, over the last 10 years of my life, especially in the last 3 years of my life, 3 to 4 years of my life, is really just, nurturing that purpose and accepting it.
I love that. I love that. And I say all the time, what makes a man happy is purpose. With what you're kind of speaking about, it's remembering that purpose, not necessarily finding it outside of yourself. It's remembering that you are that trunk, that you are. I was actually thinking about it on the way over, because I was like, okay, purpose, what does that mean to me? And the first thought that came to my head was connection. Connection. Your purpose is your connection to something greater than yourself. Right? You play a part in something bigger than just you. and therefore you feel connected to something bigger than you. You feel connected to others. You feel connected to Mother Earth. You feel connected to society. You feel connected to God.
Yeah.
Right? And you can actually think of that as you think of a tree, right? At the center of a tree. It's connected all throughout. It's every part of the tree plays a different role, whether that's the trunk, the branches, the roots, the leaves, the bark, right? They're all part of something bigger than just themselves. And
It's all one.
the connection, it's all one, right? And when you're not in your purpose, you're simply just forgetting that you are connected to everything, and you always have been.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not something to find. It is something to remember. It's a
Yeah.
perspective to have that I am connected and I do have purpose. You know, though I do think of like before we came here, I imagine we were at the drawing board, right? And we were going through like our life story, and there maybe were different parts of our life story that were almost like focal points of big parts, big reasons of why we wanted to come here. But even those focal points are then connected to every part of your life and every part that leads you up to those focal points. And so again, you're always in your purpose. You know, and yeah, it's cool to like find like maybe a job that makes you feel like you're more in your purpose, or a hobby that makes you feel like you're more in your purpose, or a tribe that makes you feel like you're more in your purpose, right? But ultimately, those things are just reflecting back to you your own connection to everything, and that remembrance that you are connected, that you do have purpose.
I love that. Yeah, I definitely agree completely with that. You know, it's just understanding that it's there, and you know, I think acceptance is a big one too, because I feel like acceptance, and I've talked about this. Actually, I had this conversation with the other day with a good friend of mine, Christian Santos, and we were talking about the heart and, you know, where it lives within us, the circuit, you know, to the heart when it's activated, you know, when it's either flipped on or flipped off, is actually acceptance, you know. And when you accept yourself and your heart and the truth that you have within, and you make that conscious choice to accept it, that it activates the circuit. And when the circuit's activated, you have the power to it now. You now have access to it. It doesn't mean that the heart was never there. It doesn't mean that the truth wasn't ever there and that you somehow got it put there. It was already there. It was when you accepted, right, that truth. You accepted that within you. Accept your purpose, that you activate it so that you have access to it, to be able to use it. And that was like a really big breakthrough for me of connecting that. And, you know, as we were speaking about it and as I was sharing that with him, I was like, that is what it is. It's acceptance that gives you access to it, because you're consciously choosing to believe. You know, and belief is everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's the core, right, of a soul and of a person, is what do you believe? You know, and if you can believe in what you feel, and you're going in within, and you can feel it, and you choose to consciously believe it and accept it, then you now activate it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's something that I've learned to be more conscious of.
Yeah.
So that I can not only be in my, or know my purpose, but I can be in my purpose.
Yeah.
And so that's been a big one for me.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that now, because I'm kind of connecting the dots on what you told me the other day of the fact that you have the power of a star within you, right? In your heart. It's really the consciousness of Christ, the God spark, whatever you want to call it, source.
Yeah.
We have that within us, and that is in our hearts, right? And so if you're able to connect that, close that circuit through acceptance and through opening, and, you know, then you can really have the energy to do anything that you want to do. And I think about like 2 years ago, when I'm still at the dealership that I started with my brothers, and the business is not doing well for me. You know, like I've lost a lot of my passion for it. I'm kind of looking for a way out. I'm thinking, maybe I need to do some coaching. Maybe I need to do something different. I'm kind of done with the auto industry. I'm more, I resonate more with kind of the spiritual world. And, I was working 4 to 5 hours a day, and watching my business fail, being like, why can't I get myself to like just go in and do what needs to be done,
Right.
so that I can create a life for myself that I want, and looking back, it's like, obviously like acceptance comes into my mind, but it's, I was forgetting that I was in my purpose, and I was cut off from that power of the star that exists within me. And obviously all perfect, because the way it weaved led me to Parkline,
Yeah.
going into business with you and igniting that fucking flame within me, where I'm like now leading these group of people, and I've remembered my purpose, I've remembered who I am. And now I have energy where I can go to work for 10 hours and not even feel tired, not feel burnt out. It's so cool when you, again, close that circuit and open the power of your own heart, remember your purpose.
I love that.
And you can do anything. You can have the energy to do anything.
It's a big one. And it's something that, as you were saying that too, that, kind of pinged me, was that want and resonance aren't the same thing. And sometimes we want something, and we feel like because we want it, we kind of confuse that, I would say, with acceptance. But want is only as good as what resonates in your heart, because your resonance is coming from within. It's your heart space.
Right.
And so if your want is out of alignment with what feels right, I'm sure you wanted to be successful, and you wanted, Hoskins Trucks to be this thing and this great thing that you envisioned. And, that want, I could tell that you had that want. Like I could see it. And when you spoke about it, like I could tell that the want was there, but it was like the resonance like wasn't there. Right. And you were trying to figure out like, why, like I want this, why can't it just feel good? Why can't I go here and it feel right? And so sometimes, like, I've always, I've had to learn this the hard way. And man, I went through it for 3.5 years. I wanted something, but it didn't resonate.
Yeah.
And it, and that was a hard one for me, because I've always wanted things and been able to achieve them. But I've also realized that a lot of my natural wants were in alignment with what my heart wanted, and what my heart actually told me was good.
Yeah.
It was the first time you run into a want not aligning with your heart, and your heart's like, this is not good. This isn't for you.
Yeah.
And you don't know why. And the heart doesn't work in logic. It doesn't work in your mind space, and it doesn't sit there and write you an essay and explain to you why it can't give you this.
Right.
It just vibrates or it doesn't. And that's its job. And that's why it takes belief and trust to listen to it, because you don't get the logic. And anytime you try to logic it, you're not gonna like where it takes you. Yeah. And so that for me was such a big learning opportunity, was to go, oh yeah, this is a new one for me. To actually have a want that doesn't line up with what feels right, what my heart says, this is good, this is for you, Jace. And it was letting go of a big want I wanted for the first time in my life, to say I have to let it go because it doesn't resonate.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it doesn't resonate, because I fought for years to get the logic to have it explain itself to me, but it didn't. So I remember speaking to you about that when you were talking about the dealership and your vision and what you were wanting, and your want was so strong, but I there was this thing where it's like, you just were like, I don't feel good though. I go there and I'm exhausted. I can't stay there for more than 3-4 hours, and I want to leave. And it's, that feel of resonance just like wasn't there for you.
Right.
And again, it's like, I know you didn't know why, just like I didn't know why the things I wanted.
Yeah, racking my brain for 2 fucking years trying to figure out what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
I felt like I was trying every which way to make things work. And it's not like I wasn't working. I had a hard time being there for very long, but I also got a lot of shit done while I was there.
Yeah.
And I pivoted multiple times and I tried multiple avenues, and it's just like the universe just kept kicking back because I was just out of resonance. I was forgetting.
Yeah,
that
you
I was-
can't outwork non-resonance.
You can't.
Like that's a
Fucking try.
You did, and I know how hard a worker you are, and I know how fucking I just know. I mean, like I said, no one's gonna fucking outwork me, but I was like, yeah, my discipline and my dedication to this want is going to kill me
Right.
if I keep trying to force, like, manhandle a want into resonance,
Right.
because that's not trust. Trust is I don't know why it doesn't resonate, but I have to honor it,
Yeah.
and I gotta let go of the want, which that is really what letting go is.
Right.
Is you're letting go of this want that you really want, and you're willing to give anything for it, but that's not really the issue, and so like that was it was as you were going through your process, I was going through that process, and it really did actually, like, seeing that for you, like, helped me to see, like, oh wow, like, you can want something, but it doesn't mean it's for you,
Yeah, and I mean that also ties back into purpose, right?
Mhm.
Remembering that you are connected to something that is bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
And when it's just you and your want, but it's not feeling like it's connecting, it's not closing the circuit, it's not giving you energy,
Mm-hmm.
then you're forgetting your purpose. You're forgetting that you're connected to something bigger than yourself. You're not trusting that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not trusting that the universe is trying to stay connected to you, but you keep cutting it off and say, no, I want this. It's your ego that inserts itself.
Yeah.
Breaks the circuit.
There goes the acceptance, which the
Yeah.
circuit's closed. Like,
Yeah,
once you open the circuit, it's dead.
Right.
You now have no access to your purpose because you're putting the want before acceptance of what you feel.
Right.
And that takes trust. And I understand why we're not the only ones to struggle with this. I get it. I get why faith is so difficult, because it is unknown almost all the time. And it's not meant to be logical. Not to say it couldn't be, but it's not its purpose. Its purpose is to to put you into a state of trust of yourself, of your own heart, of going, I know what I'm feeling here. And it can go both ways. Like, you can feel something that was like a really good thing to do, but you can also not do it, because you're fearful to trust your heart, even if it is something you want. And that's also where, people can take it the other way, where like, it feels good and I actually really want this, but now it's too good, because now it resonates and you want it. And now that is super scary, because to let that go would be just devastating.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you're right. It's always faith and belief is always going to test you, even when it's giving you both the want and the resonance.
Yeah.
But it's something that, as you learn to honor that, your heart, and accept it and keep that circuit, not open but closed, so it's connected fully and you have access to it. As you continue to choose acceptance, whether it's the want doesn't line up with the resonance, or the want and the resonance are both there and it's super intense, but you're just like, I'm gonna walk with this faith, with this trust of my heart and what it is speaking and whispering to me. And I think that is something where your purpose will always ask that. I don't believe that your purpose will ever ask you to walk away from your heart. Not as far as what resonates.
Right.
You can have a heart when it comes to certain things or somebody, but that doesn't mean they resonate with you. But when something resonates with you, your purpose will always align with that resonance. I don't believe it would ever be outside of what resonates.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. It makes me think of that picture. I don't know if you've ever seen that picture where there's a child holding a teddy bear and it's gripping it super tight, and then Christ is standing in front of them with something, a much bigger prize behind him, and he says, trust me.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's how the universe works. when you choose to trust it, it can unfold its magic for you in a way that when you're willing to let go of something that is dear to you and you think you want, but the universe is asking you to let go and trust it because there may or may not be something greater for you, right? You can't really experience that level of magic that the universe has to offer that we have witnessed so many times in our lives until you let go, until you get to that level of acceptance, that level of surrender to go, okay, this is out of resonance. I don't see what could possibly be better, but I'm willing to trust.
Yeah.
And when you can get to that point, you will experience magic and see the beauty of the universe expand in so many areas of your life. You know, I've seen it multiple times and I'm still that person. I'm still that person that has seen evidence of it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
still, you know, human nature, we like to hold on to shit.
We still have brains, you know, we still have these minds that are great tools, but, you know, they're also, you know, we are spiritual beings having physical experience, and that will never change. And so our physicality will always try to, you know, run from the things that the spirit is speaking to it. And it's meant to be that way because it's the ultimate test of the spirit is, can you overcome the flesh? Can you overcome your mind? You know, can you actually conquer it? And it's not a one and done thing, unfortunately. It takes consistency and constant challenges that continue to step it up as you start to really have to dive into a deep sense of trust. You have to really regulate. You know, you have to let your spirit be guiding the ship and to regulate that chaotic storm that our physicality wants to create. And it's through constantly sinking into ourselves and filling into that heart space and letting it regulate throughout our physicality that we start to move through these processes quicker and quicker. But it takes time, and you know, it takes consistency, but it can be done, and you can speed the process up. Time is not, you know, it's not linear. It's not like, hey, this is the amount of time it's going to take to learn this lesson, and it's already pre-predicated. I've always talked about
How fast are you willing to choose yourself?
How fast are you willing to truly go all in on your heart and let your soul be at the forefront of your guidance? You know, but you know, it is a choice, and it's meant to be.
Right.
It's meant to be our choice.
And there's levels.
Yeah.
There's levels as you go, as it's meant to be.
100%.
Choosing yourself gets harder and harder as you move up the levels.
Yeah.
But your life will get better and better. You know, I really believe that.
Well, you just allow the magic to become more potent and more in every part of your life. The more you can get out of the way with your physicality, with your mind, with your fears, with your ego, and you can allow yourself to regulate and move through those processes quicker and quicker, the more that you're going to eventually, your soul's going to be just the guide fully. It's like a horse, you know, you just kind of have to beat it down until you realize it's like, you're not in charge. Sorry, fearful mind. Sorry, chaos. Sorry, logic that you want everything to make sense and you want to go chat GPT to have everything explained to you. Sorry. You know, you're not in control here. You know, I am a spiritual being and I will honor that. And it takes, you have to do it. It's easy to talk about it. It's another thing to do it. And that there's a reason why we're here, because we're not here to think about it or to speak about it or to feel about it. We're here to do it. You know, because it's in the physicality that you are doing the doing.
I mean, bringing the spiritual into the physical. Right? The path of Christ consciousness is really bringing the two together, union. You know, what would you say if there was a man listening, hypothetically, that feels lost, feels like he's looking for his purpose, but he feels lost. He doesn't know where to go. Where would you tell that man to start?
Yeah, I don't know. He's probably screwed.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Probably give up.
I would quit. You're never going to find it. No, I mean, what I would tell that man that feels lost is to find the ability to actually thank himself for being lost.
Wow.
Yeah. Because that is actually beautiful. It means that it's real. You know, what you're experiencing is real. And that's what you came here to do, was to feel that level of darkness, because that's what makes it real.
No.
You know, and it's in the realness, right, that we get to actually know who we are. And even when the realness is complete lostness, that is a gift. And sometimes we want to feel it. And sometimes the knee-jerk human reaction is to run from it, to escape it, to let the dysregulation run rampant, and do everything you can to try to not to feel it.
Yeah.
And that's because that is the physicality side. That is what your body and your mind and your ego, it's uncomfortable. And sometimes when we can stop and go, I don't like this feeling, I'm completely dysregulated, and I am running and I am doing everything I can, because we're thinking and doing something else, that it'll just magically go away, that we just won't feel lost anymore. You know, and I think a lot of men are taught that by a lot of other men. It's like, you feel lost, you feel hurt, well, why don't you go do some shit? And it's like, okay, I'm not over here telling men not to go do something, because you know me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all about it, doing. But you can't just run to the doing, because if you run straight from the doing and you avoid the feeling and you avoid the regulation side of allowing yourself to feel these things, allowing these things to hurt, because they need to hurt, they need to be felt. And if you run right to the doing, you've now entered into what we call complete avoidance. That's the knee-jerk reaction, avoidance. And you will then go and beat yourself down, doing and doing, so much doing, to only pile on to your lostness.
Yeah.
And so I always will, if the first thing and where he's at is like, I am just lost, it's like, what a gift.
Yeah.
What a gift to feel that. Let's feel that. Where is it going in your body? What is it making you want to do?
Yeah.
You know, well, I want to get the hell out of this. Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, it's so beautiful, because when I kind of dropped into what I would call my dark night of the soul, you know, my darkness 3.5 years ago, I remember, like, right off the bat, having the understanding that I was experiencing this level of darkness and this level of pain and this level of lostness because I had something big to do here. I had a mission, right? And I would constantly come back to that for the next few years that were very fucking hard. And I'm not sure, you know, if I would have made it through without at least coming back to that remembrance of, I must be experiencing this because I have a big mission. So I can find gratitude in the fact that the universe is offering me this opportunity to strip away the parts of myself that are no longer serving me, that will not be able to come with me where I'm going, that can't be a part of my mission. And yeah, so I mean, if you're a man that's lost, that's where I would say to start, is find the gratitude for the darkness, because you've been chosen. Congratulations. You've been chosen by the universe.
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah.
And that's a confirmation of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's beautiful.
So, you know, coming back to purpose, I think it's such an important part of a man's life. And if you feel like you're without purpose right now, come back to that remembrance of really what purpose is. And, you know, my recommendation pretty much always with men is just feel. If I see a man that's kind of recently dropped into the darkness, that's my first place is, okay, brother, you got to sit with yourself. You need to allot some time. You need to go into a space and actually feel shit,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And a lot of times the conversation is, well, how do I do that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So many men, we're so disconnected from our emotions because of the way we're programmed, society, whatever,
Yeah.
that, you know, I would say that's the road. If you're in the darkness, if you feel lost, is start to connect with the things that want to be felt. And you will begin to remember your purpose, and that you are connected, and that you're always where you're supposed to be,
Yeah.
and that you are meant for something bigger,
Yeah.
you know?
I love that. Yeah, it's a process, and you know, it's meant to be, but processes have, you know, a start. And I think a lot of people want to run away from the start gate. And I get it. Like, we live in a society, especially now, where I want to skip all the stuff, the beginning, you know, in people's minds, the hard part. I don't want to have to make this much money and then make this much and then make this much. I don't want to go from here and then just make $1 bajillion.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you want that curse? Okay. Like, I mean, sure. I mean, even someone that's pulled it off, they'll tell you that that was a brutal lesson to learn. So, you know, it's like, pick your lesson or just go through your process, you know, because the lesson's going to be learned in the process. But if you try to avoid it, you're just getting another lesson on top of the lesson you just avoided. The lesson is the refiner. It's the refiner, right? That's the refining process. So don't steer away from the beginning and going through it and knowing that you're like, hey, you're not where these other people are, and like, you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to be where you are right now. So instead of trying to skip ahead, like, let's just actually be present and actually meet yourself right where you're at right now.
Yeah.
And let's let yourself navigate yourself in the present right now. And that is where you can actually start to find a little bit of joy actually in it, because you're like, oh, like, I don't need to run from anything. I don't need to skip ahead. I'm not where I shouldn't be. And these are the stories a lot of men tell themselves, is I'm not where I should be. And most of the time it's because, oh, they're looking here, there, and everywhere but at themselves. And it's a lack of this, you know, grace for themselves and this love for themselves, because they're always wanting to look at the pedestals around them and be like, wow, look at that person, look at that man, look at this. And it's like, brother, like, I get it, but nobody's above you. Like, they're in their process and they're being present. And if they're not being present, you don't even know. So why not focus on you? Because you can know if you're being present or not. But you cannot know truly if someone's being as present as you may think they are or not, especially when you're not in a place of presence. Now, you get to a deep place of presence, you'll know a lot where people are at, but you don't really care. Like, I'm not over here like, oh, well, this person. It's like, oh, well, they'll figure it out. Good luck.
Yeah.
You know?
So let's say once you've gone through a big part of the process, you see people going through it, and it's like, beautiful.
Yeah, it's great.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. You just applaud them, you know, quietly, notice it, and you just hold space for people, because you know that, like, it's a process. You know, wherever they are in their journey, they are still going through their processes. And so skipping ahead and all that stuff that we want to do, that men knee-jerk reactions to do, is not going to help them. Only takes away from the beauty of the now. You know, the now is so beautiful. You know, and like, I think a lot of men just think, if I can escape this now to get to the other now, it's going to be great. And it's like, look, I get why men do that. I get why humans do that. But it's like, no, like, if it's here, like, don't figure out how you can just get through this hard day and sweep it under the rug and then wake up in the morning and be like, yeah, I'm great. It's like, you can do that, and there's plenty of people that do, but they are missing out on the beauty of that darkness and of that feeling.
And ultimately, just kicking the bucket down the road.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it has to be experience. I mean, that's what people don't understand. It's like, you are the author here, okay, people? This is your story. So you're only running from your own self and your soul. Your soul is literally wanting you to learn this lesson. It is why you're here. And so give it what it wants, which is presence, which is experience it, feel it, get to understand this dysregulation that's going on, and let your soul guide you into regulation. You know, but it's a process, and I think men just need to understand that and go forward with grace and with true gratitude that you get to feel this heaviness right now. I know it sucks, but it's also really special. And I know that sounds cliche, but it is. It is. And if you can just ground yourself in that truth, at least that one truth, you'll stop trying to at least run from the now.
Yeah, and the less you try and run from it, realistically, the quicker you're going to move through it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a little cheat code,
Yeah,
that is
accept it.
Accept it.
Surrender to it.
Yeah, 100%.
Become okay with it.
Yeah,
and then it will begin to pass.
yeah.
So, yeah, I love that, man. I love a lot of what you said, because it's purpose equals presence, ultimately. And
For
so
sure.
it's been really cool over the past almost year and a half now that we've known each other, of like remembering my purpose. As I've stood beside you in a lot of things, and now working together and working out every day and spending so much time together, and we've seen that our purpose is so intertwined here with what we're meant to do, and just remembering that every single day we're in our purpose.
I love it. I've loved watching, and I loved observing, and I've loved letting myself be, in the now and my purpose, while you're doing the same for yourself, and just getting to just have that gentleness for ourselves and appreciation for our processes and for what we're moving through, and feeling that acceptance become ignited and stronger every day of the purpose that we truly can feel. And we know, we've accepted it. We've stopped going out looking. It's there already. It always has been. It's been really cool.
It's in the man within.
Yeah, exactly. Catchy little phrase that we came up with for a reason. It's almost like we did on purpose.
Yep.
Yeah.
Seems like that's kind of who we are. So,
Yeah.
Well, cool, brother. Appreciate you. And thanks for listening, guys. A little bit about purpose, and hopefully you took something out of it. I know I'll be thinking a little bit more about purpose and what we've brought up here, and what that really means to me, because I think it's so important to know and remember purpose as a man.
Heck yeah. I can agree more.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.